Namaste, Shalom, Salam, Assalamu Alaikum. Blessings be upon you in the name of the Son, of the one true Most High God, and the Holy Spirit that He gifted us with, those that so believe. How you doing, everybody? Thank you for watching. Be interesting about this episode. We'll see what happens here. It's live late night America, and we're going to be talking about some things. Yes, we are, as we have been. And in case you missed the earlier kind of update tease as to coming live tonight, the last live was taken down. I'm still not sure why. I'm still not sure what was wrong with it, but nonetheless, it was taken down. So you won't be seeing it on here. And hopefully that's the last time that happens. With that being said, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the like, hammer that like, smash that like, hit the notification bell so you know when we're going to be on. And please feel free to join the chat if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on one of the other platforms, thank you very much. And feel free to leave a comment, hit the likes there. And let's get to it. I want to talk about a couple of things that we've shown. We showed the public service announcement from the city of New York for what to do in case of a nuclear attack. And, it started with really basically started with don't ask why or how or who. Just know that it happened and here's what you need to do. Which of course triggered me to ask why, how, and who. I've got some notes here and I want to make sure I get it all right. So in regards to a potential dirty bomb in New York City, that's just speculation. Okay. That's me connecting dots. I don't have any intel that is going to happen. I had some leaked intel that the reason for the public service announcement is they've been looking for one. So it's unconfirmed, but the problem could be that they may be looking, the authorities may be looking for, something like what was used in the first World Trade Center attack, a massive cargo truck or a box truck parked in a garage somewhere hidden away in the vast labyrinth of potential parking areas in what is New York City. I think if there's a dirty bomb, it will probably be the size of a suitcase, possibly even smaller, depending what they're using for the explosive and what kind of radioactive material they may be using. And it'll be on top of a building and it'll probably be well concealed if that were going to happen. Because remember, the idea with a dirty bomb is it's not for mass destruction. All right. We're going to get to that in just a second. But the idea of a dirty bomb basically is terrorize, is just to put fear in everybody that, it could happen next wherever they may be. And the idea behind a dirty bomb is to eject radiation into the air. And again, it's more of a terror than a weapon of mass destruction. With that being said, the Russians have been quite open with the fact that one of their new Satan missiles, each one of them has 15 warheads on it, and just one Satan missile could destroy a vast majority of the East Coast. So, the weapons of mass destruction are prevalent throughout the world, as we but the episode was specifically about a dirty bomb, and how I kind of put dots together based upon the instructions that were given, and not faulting the instructions that were given in any way, shape, or form, just observing, and just giving you something to think about, as it says right down there. In other news today, the Prime Minister of Italy resigned. Normally, it might not be a big deal, but again, let's connect some dots. The Prime Minister of Italy resigned today. Former Prime Minister of Japan was shot James Bond style with umbrella guns. The Prime Minister of Great Britain has resigned. The Prime Minister of Israel has resigned. The President of Sri Lanka fled the country because of the conditions. The Prime Minister of Pakistan. Instability is real in the world, okay? Where's this all leading? More instability. And that's why I'm always talking about about being prepared. Because having just a little bit of preparation gives you a little bit of peace of mind. And the more preparation you have for the more potential things, the more peace of mind you're going to have in case something does happen. And there's so much going on in the world that the idea of something not happening would be a shock. Okay, so let's get to our stories here, and we're going to try not to break any copyright rules, or try not to do anything that's not within community standards. So President Joe Biden, President of the United States, is in Israel, and earlier today they signed the strategic partnership, and this is from the U.S. Embassy in Israel. And basically, the leaders of the United States and Israel met in Jerusalem, adopted the following joint declaration. The United States and Israel reaffirm the unbreakable bonds between our two countries and the enduring commitment of the United States to Israel's security. Battle lines are being drawn. We talked about those, matched up those song lyrics from For What It's Worth, a song by Buffalo Springfield, and Lunatic Fringe by Red Rider. You can go back and check that. That was our tease episode for the live that got pulled down. So, but those lyrics are all mashed together there. Go back and listen to the very end of it if you've listened to it again, because it kind of paints a picture of what's going on today. So the two countries met. Obviously, they met. Biden is there, and they have reaffirmed. The United States has reaffirmed its commitment, and furthermore, the United States and Israel affirm that among the values the countries share is an unwavering commitment to democracy, the rule of law, and the calling of Tikkun Olam, repairing the world. The leaders expressed appreciation to former Prime Minister Bennett, who led the most diverse government in Israel's history, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people immediately are saying, okay, Israel has been chomping at the bit to go after Iran's nuclear capabilities before they become too vast to be taken out. It's Thursday night, 12:10 a.m. So it's actually Friday morning, and Israel likes to attack on Fridays. It is the Muslim holy day. And so don't be surprised if something major happens out of Israel, even with Biden being there. Because I don't think Iran would necessarily wait until Biden wasn't in Israel to counterattack. So don't be surprised if something doesn't kick off. There may be an agreement to wait until Biden leaves so that he's not caught in a counterattack. Or there may be a grand scheme of things that we are totally unaware of where Biden is meant to be caught in a counterattack. These are all just things to think about. All right. This isn't news. This is entertainment and a blog. And it's just giving some opinions, giving you some facts, and giving you something to think about. So Biden is over there, and I advise everybody keep an eye on it. A lot of stuff to talk about. Thank you all again for being here, and I'll hop over into the chat in just a minute. You can, if you got any questions or comments or anything, make sure you get them in the chat, and I'll pop over there in just a minute. Okay, let's just take a quick look at CNN and officer corroborates details of heated January 6th exchange. Police officer in Trump's January 6th motorcade recounted to committee investigators an exchange between the ex-president and his Secret Service detail. Ex-president's ex-wife passed away today, and an Indiana doctor who provided abortion services to a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio reported the procedure to the health department, documents show. And the headline earlier was that this is the Attorney General of Indiana, and it was the Attorney General is going after the doctor who helped the 10-year-old. It's a political diplomatic tightrope in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is probably closer aligned to Israel than many in the world might think. And quite frankly, I can't see Biden walking a tightrope. I can't see too much happening that hasn't already been worked out behind the scenes diplomatically and everything, because there's just too much chance for going off script in a very bad way. So I don't know how much I make of that, but one reason I wanted to bring all this up is if you look into all of these stories, the resignation of the Prime Minister of Italy, on top of all the other resignations from prime ministers, is nowhere to be seen. Just something to think about. Censorship in Canada. Is there censorship going on in Canada? The bill is called Bill C-11, and here we just open. Let's see if we can do this. There we go. See if we're still sharing. We are. It's the Online Streaming Act, commonly known as Bill C-11, is a proposed bill introduced in the 44th Canadian Parliament, first introduced in 2020. An act to amend the Broadcasting Act and to make related and consequential amendments to other acts. So basically, this is going to limit internet video and digital media and prioritize the needs and interests of Canadians. So basically, the needs and interests of Canadians may not necessarily uh, be being served by traditional mass media or even by the Canadian government. And who would tell you if those things were happening? It would be people like me that are doing what I'm doing, only doing it in Canada with Canadian specific material, and then covering world events as necessary, just like we do here. Um, censorship is is a slippery slope, and I've had, obviously had the episode pulled down in the middle of a live, so they're watching right now. They're watching live to make sure, if I do say or do anything wrong, then we're going to be pulled down, and we're not intentionally trying to do that, and we don't want that to happen. It's a fact, so I'm telling you about it. And when things start getting censored to the point that um, you can't think about something, then somebody's telling you what to think. And I said this the other night, but control your brains, control your minds, control your own thinking. Because if you don't control your brain, if you don't control your mind, if you don't control your own thinking, somebody else will. And there's a book called 1984. And in that book, there's only one message, and there's a constant war. And you're not supposed to think for yourself. And if you haven't read the book, you might think about picking it up. You might also think about picking up my 3 books. They're in the description below. And when when the episode was pulled down the other night, I got a lot of email. I got texts. I got, hey, what's up? What's going on? Who's watching you? But the thing about it, it's not, it happens. Okay. I hope it doesn't happen here. I hope I hope we can keep telling the truth about things and not being censored by it. But people were asking, why why would anybody want to censor your channel? It's not huge. You're not, a major influencer. And all those things are true. But keep in mind that the channel's just, the channel's the channel. I've written books. I've ran for Congress. I've put together anti-establishment organizations. So while I don't exploit things like I probably should have in the beginning to grow all of this, and again, if things were to worked out differently, things would have been differently. But if there's any potential for any kind of anybody that could potentially be seen as a leader of an anti-establishment counter movement or whatever, they're going to be watched. That's because there are too many, and and people see some as dangerous, and probably justifiably so. I'm not one of them. Okay, I'm just somebody that tries to stay in the middle and report on things from both sides. And when you do that, you're gonna get hate from both sides, because when you're telling the truth, it's not fitting one side or the other side's agenda, and it's not fitting into one side or another side's uh, narrative. And That's why you have to keep control of your own mind. You have to keep control of your own brain. You have to keep control of your own thinking. You can't just look one way. All you're going to see is one thing. And if all you do is watch Fox News, guess who's controlling what you think? It's not you. It's not you. If you're only watching MSNBC, guess who's controlling what you're thinking? It's not you. They want everybody divided up. They want everybody divided up, as divided as possible, old against young. All of this is in my book. And I think that's, never mind. They want conflict. They want things to heat up and kick off, because when that happens, martial law comes in and the government controls everything. And chances are there aren't going to be a lot of votes. There aren't going to be a lot of decisions made by you and me. So that's why platforms like this are potentially dangerous. That's why we get monitored. And that's why we may get more suppression than other channels. But thankfully, we still live in a free country here in the United States. And basically, this goes out to the entire world, you know? And maybe it's somebody in another country that is behind some of the things that have been happening, not just here on this channel. Anyway, except for North Korea. I said this goes out to the world. It doesn't go out to North Korea. I've been notified that that I'm no longer visible in North Korea. I'm probably still being watched by the North Korean the North Korean intelligence, but not the people. The people can't see the signal anymore. Those that did have YouTube, and those that did have computers, and those that did have electricity. So it's not like it decimated my viewership or anything. And if you didn't see that episode, it was the leader was instructing people on what to do, and they pulled out this big missile, and he was, and he put on his aviator glasses and a leather jacket, and I made bomber jacket, and I put Tom Cruise. He's watched too many Tom Cruise movies. He's watched Top Gun too. I don't remember exactly what it was, but North Korea didn't like it. So again, thank you all for watching. And this is a good point before I get to the next story. What are you all thinking in the chat? Again, I just basically told you what I think the main goal of all of this is: the divisions, old against young, men against women, race against race, anything except poor against rich. They don't want that one. They don't want us even considering that one. Don't rock skinny jeans. You're exactly right, Smoke Wagon. Ohana. I think Ohana means family in Hawaiian. Is that correct? If it is Ohana, it's coming from Sissy, so it's a positive. If I'm wrong, it's impossible to run from dirty bombage when your jeans are so skinny you can read the date on the corner in the back pocket. I'm reading some chats here, folks. If it wasn't for that doctor, that poor baby would be hurting a lot more. Glad the doctor stepped up to help the kid. Sissy, this could become a potential tipping point. And this could be one of those red blue thing, Republican Democrat things. I ran for office, and basically the only way you can have a hope of being successful is being the representative of one of the two parties. But really, there are so many labels that there are too many labels, and each label's like a pigeonhole, and it boxes people. But anyway, red, blue, conservative, liberal, whatever, the story coming out of Indiana and the 10-year-old little girl, I don't think is going to go away. I think it's going to get played up in the mainstream media. I think it's going to have longer than a 12-hour shelf life. So pointing that out is, foretelling, I think, because I think that story's going to resonate. They don't want us to get the truth out there at all. It's becoming more and more the case where, and the truth, like beauty, is often in the eyes of the beholder. That's why I say, look, don't just look one way, because you're only going to see one thing. And you're going to have a very, very, very narrow perspective on everything. And the truth is such a important thing. And we used to hold, we hold these truths to be self-evident. And now the lies are so much bigger that the truth is often swept under the rug. Just something to think about. It's important to go out in the world and see what is really going on. That's true, Smoke Wagon. That's incredibly true. And I talked about this on the live that got taken down. I've had some bizarre stuff happen out in the real world. Sup, Pat Tolliver, thank you for watching. Thank you all for watching. Hey, Casey. I'm running down through the chat here. Yes, hit the subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. Thank you, Sissy, for always making sure and taking care of that. Let me get down to the bottom if I can figure this out. All right. So again, thank you all for watching wherever you may be watching, and a couple of more stories to take care of. I've been writing song lyrics, and I get in these phases where song lyrics just come to my head, and I start writing songs. And when I'm in those phases, I also start hearing relevant lyrics from other songs. And I said I mashed up Lunatic Fringe and For What It's Worth, and For What It's Worth, that's the name of the song, but it's never it's not part of the song. At no time in the song do they say For What It's Worth. You might know it better as there's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. You better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Children, look what's going down. Battle lines being drawn. Nobody right if everybody's wrong. People carrying their signs and mostly say hooray for our side. It was written in the 1960s, and it's incredibly relevant today. And another song that was written in the same era is a song called "Signs Everywhere, Signs," and the lyric, and it starts out real melancholy. And the sign said, "Long-haired freaky people need not apply." So I tucked my hair up under my hat and I went in to ask him why. He said, "You look like a fine, upstanding young man. I think you'll do." So I took off my hat and said, "Imagine that, huh? Me working for you. Whoa. Sign, everywhere a sign, blocking the scenery, breaking my mind. Do this, don't do that. Can't you read the sign?" And sadly enough, it may come down to a battle. It may come down to how you wear your hair will be seen as a determining factor of which side of the Civil War you're on. I know that sounds lunaticish, but there are a lot of far right bald people on purpose. Just something to think about. Doesn't mean it doesn't mean everybody that is bald is bad, or everybody with hair is good. It's just they're looking for every single way to divide us as a country, as a people, and probably as humanity. Because the more we destroy each other, the less they would have to potentially destroy us, if that were the case. As it is, it's just something to think about. So we talked about the meeting in Jerusalem. We've talked about basically the headlines, what's going on. We talked about the 10-year-old little girl from Ohio came to Indiana to have an abortion. And just the fact that a 10-year-old would have to have an abortion is horrific enough. The fact that it's no longer a health or safety option in her state. And again, those of you that watch the show, know my stance on abortion, and those that don't, it's basically, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a woman, and I don't think, I think that's who should be making medical decisions. Because let's be 100% real here for just a second. This just kind of popped into my head. If there were a significant number of women in Congress and on the Supreme Court and in the executive branch, and they all decided that every man over 18 automatically has to have a vasectomy, so that there's no need for abortion, and you get it reversed when you're ready to have a child. I think a whole lot of men would be going, "Whoa, hey, no, whoa, hey, no, hands off my body, my body, my choice." It's just something to think about, okay? And some are out there going, "Well, what about, you're a Christian," and I am, and I don't want. I personally, it is. Again, I'm not a woman. I'm not a doctor. I think abortion should be rare. It should be safe. I don't think it's necessarily, but that's just my opinion. Well, what about God? Well, about God, I ministered, pastored, whatever word you want to use, for a long time, and studied the Bible for a really long time. And there are things in the Bible that are confusing. There are things in the Bible that are contradictory, even with each other. And really, the only thing absolute is that there is a God, and I'm not God, and you're not God, and you're not God, and you're not God, and you're not God. And the God that I believe in is an almighty God and can do anything. So if there is an abortion that happens, that wasn't supposed to happen, even with free will, because it's not up to us to condemn someone to hell or raise somebody up to heaven. That's not, we don't have those powers. We don't have that judgment. That's between each individual person and God. and those that don't believe in God. To them, abortion is not looked at as anything other than violating their bodies. And again, going back to every man, let's say every male 16 and up has to automatically have a vasectomy, all the way up till you can't, it doesn't work no more with nothing. Okay, our body, our choice is what we would be doing as men. So why should we expect any less from women? And again, it's just something to think about. It's a very divisive issue, and there are ways of looking at it and ways of making it non-divisive or not as divisive. And it's the same, the left wing, the right wing, two wings of the same dirty bird. The gun thing is right wing. The abortion thing is left wing. It's, things that the people making the decisions really don't care anything about, because they've got enough money and power that they can do basically pretty much whatever they want and get away with it. It's all about controlling us so that we don't unite, because the people united would never be defeated. There's too many of us, and the right wing made sure all of us have guns. Something to think about. Sissy says, I would say boys 10 and up. Okay. She said she'll start and finish it. I'm not sure what that's about, but I want to get to this story here before I forget it and before we close. First of all, before I do that, I want to take a quick look at what's up on YouTube. And okay, JFK Jr. is still alive. See, I know YouTube you're watching now. The stuff I talk about and the stuff I show, it was deemed spam. It was deemed fraudulent and misleading. JFK Jr. is still alive. One more just popped up here, and I just got to show you, because again, let's see. U.S. Supreme Court has overturned the election. Okay, and this is 3 days ago. And it just makes me wonder how evenly the content guidelines are distributed. So, nothing to be sorry about, Casey. You guys go ahead and go at it. Go ahead and go at it. If anybody's watching and wants to hop in the chat, let me know. I'll put the link up. But we're going to be doing this Friday night, Saturday night at 1 a.m, more extended version. So I'm going to try to keep this one under an hour, and again, try to keep it so that it's available for people to see. Okay. Sissy, I think Sissy was the first to make me aware that it happened, but there was an incident in Shawnee Park in Louisville, Kentucky. Man, you talk about a place that has had some things go down. Well, maybe it's just because I'm focused on Louisville and things don't, stuff goes down in Indianapolis, but this stuff goes down in Minneapolis, stuff goes down in all across our country and all around the world. But it just seems like there's a lot of things that happen in Louisville. So I want to share this, and this is from Riot Heart Media. And you can go and watch the whole thing. I'm going to share the last 5 minutes and 7 seconds of it. And basically, this is the reaction. What I'm going to show is the officer involved shooting wearable video system footage. Now, before we watch this,
on Sunday, July 10th, 2022, around 8 p.m.
Okay. Before we watch this, this is not for kids. This is showing a police involved event, and this is showing it from the police side, saying all of those things. Now, the videos we're going to see snippets of different videos. It's not in chronological order. There is a Freedom of Information Act pending, I understand, to try to get all of the videos released. But here's what, and I'm not, we don't come down on sides here unless, even watching Jayland Walker, there were 14 different angles on that. And after watching the thing 3 times in a row, I just couldn't anymore. I've seen this before. So I don't want, and this is another thing I'm concerned about is they want us to get conditioned to just accepting people getting killed and accepting death and accepting, without us having remorse or without us having any feelings towards, whether we watch Jayland Walker, watching him get shot 3 times, watching it happen. Again, it was too much. He was a person. It's a person that we're watching, that it's not a video game. It's not a movie. And it's the ultimate reality shows, the lives, the things we do, the content we provide. It's the ultimate reality show. And and I don't want to get to the point personally where I don't even have any feeling, I see somebody get killed. It's like, yeah, see it all the time. And when we do get to that point, that'll take away our humanity. Just something to think about. Control your own thinking, because if you don't, somebody else will.
In Shawnee Park, following the conclusion of the Dirt Bowl basketball.
Sorry, I was listening to something earlier.
As officers followed, Lee pulled a gun. Officers gave multiple verbal commands to drop the gun and drop the weapon. Lee tripped and stumbled. As he began to stand up, he fired a shot, striking one of the officers center mass in his bullet-resistant vest. Lee fired several rounds toward officers and continued to run towards the outskirts of the park, which is bordered by residential neighborhoods. Officers fired several rounds while giving more verbal commands: put the gun down, put it down, to which Lee responded with an expletive indicating that he would not drop the gun. As the incident continued, officers discharged their weapons and Lee fell to the ground. Officers approached and immediately rendered aid until EMS arrived. A firearm was recovered at the scene. The officer struck by one of Lee's gunshots was transported to the hospital for evaluation.
Okay, now this is going to all be different than what we've shown in the past. What we shown was Bruce Sweeney's live stream, as he just happened to be in the park videoing that day.
Please be advised that what you are about to view contains graphic material and may not be suitable for some people.
Totally agree.
Drop the gun! I got hit, dude. You okay? I hit my vest.
And again, what we're seeing here is what was released by the Louisville Police Department earlier today. And it comes from Riot Heart Media on Facebook. Go there and see the whole video. Remember, I said this is not in chronological order.
Show me your hands. All right. I got you. Is there any option? I got it. I got it.
Stay with us. Stay with us. It's gonna hurt.
Okay, so you can again go to Riot Heart Media. Let me pop him up here. And let me share this real quick. Here's his page, Riot Heart on Facebook, Riot Heart Media, and you can go there and watch that video in its entirety. Again, that was from the Louisville Police Department. He didn't have a gun. He had a cell phone in his hand. He did have, showed him laying there with a cell phone in his hand. I'm going to let everybody, you know, that I'm just giving you something to think about. I'm going to let everybody make their own decisions. I'm not going to weigh in one way or another, you know, because that's not what this is about. This is about giving you things to think about. Now, what I just showed, the stream's not going to be monetized because that material is not what advertisers want to be associated with. And I understand that playing the video is about showing the truth from one side. Okay. We showed the Louisville Police Department's truth. And that's one side of a story. And it's a side that has to be shown and has to be told. It's not about making money. It's about telling the truth, showing things that are presented as truth and letting you think for yourselves and decide, okay, on what we just saw, is this what actually happened? Is this things shown that happened? You know, it's cut out of sequence. It's shown out of sequence to make them look better. There are a lot of opinions that people are going to have after seeing that. And that's what it should be. We should be shown things and be able to think for ourselves instead of just told, here's what happened, move along. Just something to think about. And it's why we do this show. And I thank you all for watching. Thank you all in the chat. I love you all sincerely. And 52 minutes. We're going to keep it under an hour. Again, thank you, Casey. Thank you, Pat, Smoke Wagon, Sissy, Unvaccinated. See, am I missing anybody? Got some people in the chat tonight. I appreciate that. Always do. So thank you all for watching. We'll be back tomorrow night. Well, actually, it'll technically be Saturday a.m., but we're going to be on a 1 o'clock Friday. 1 o'clock a.m. on Saturday, technically, but you know what I'm saying. Those of us that are up on Friday nights, it's 1 o'clock. It's after midnight, it's 1 o'clock. It's not really counted as Saturday until you wake up the next day. And that's not technically, that's the way most human beings are. Let's see. Any last second messages? Kentucky State Police needs to take the case over, but they haven't. LMPD still investigating their own. And we see that a lot in a lot of different cities. The police departments have their own internal investigations. And I'm going to say one more time before I end here. Talk about preparing. We began with the instability in the world. We've talked about the instability in our country. Seriously, set some stuff aside. Don't just think food and water, but take a few minutes and watch a series I've got on prepping. It's real short. You can watch all 4 episodes in under an hour. and it'll just give you an idea, things to think about, because that's what we do. Hello, Fred. Thank you all. I haven't talked, I didn't talk about the 1776 movement. They are still on the mall in Washington, D.C. They're still being allowed to do what they're doing. Not a whole lot of activities, but it's something that is going to go one of two ways. It's going to rapidly fade out, or it is indeed a foothold for something that could potentially set our country on fire. And I hope it's the first, but something's going to set our country on fire before long. So have a little bit of preparation in your background so that so you have a little more peace of mind. So if something does happen, it's not like panic. What am I going to do? It's like, okay, I've got this, and this. Here we go. Let's see. Let's survive this and keep going forward. That's what I want from everybody that's watching. I want you all to survive whatever may be coming, because something's coming. There are too many options for one of them not to kick it off. And man, I hope I'm wrong. I love y'all. Thank you so very much for watching. I gave the blessings out in the beginning. I give it out again here. Blessings to all of you. I love you. I love you. We are one race, the human race. And my hope is that somehow there's a great awakening and we start acting like that. I love you all. Thanks again. See you next time. Tomorrow night, Friday, 1 a.m., 1 a.m. Saturday, however you want to look at it. Come back in. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep telling the truth. We're going to keep talking about things that other places aren't talking about. Prime Minister of Italy resigned today, and it didn't make CNN's top stories, or at least the episode we or the page we saw. Just something to think about.